Hello, this is Lifesavers. Merry Christmas. How may I help you?
Hello? I'm calling you because this is my last Christmas.
Your last Christmas. Continue.
May I speak to a woman?
Hello, Merry Christmas, if it's all right to say that.
What's your name?
Catherine?
I want to do it to you, Catherine. I want to stick it in you right
Did he
now.
say stick it in?
Mixed Nuts is a largely ignored Steve Martin movie, written and directed by the Sleepless in Seattle creator Nora Ephron, and considered by Siskel and Ebert as one of the worst films of 1994. So shitty, in fact, that they hardly even reviewed it.
Our next movie is Mixed Nuts, the latest film by director Nora Ephron, whose Sleepless in Seattle was such a smash. But this picture, Mixed Nuts, is another contender for the year's worst film, a stunningly empty comedy with Steve Martin as a suicide hotline worker. And how's this for an original joke? The fruitcake that nobody wants.
A fruitcake?
Yes.
Remarkably like the one I gave you last year.
I know what went wrong with Mixed Nuts. A lot of top-flight actors were asked to do just a couple of scenes for director Ephron, and they all signed on because, hey, how bad could it be? Mixed Nuts is how bad? Very bad.
It's bad. It's
Wow.
bad. Ooh, is it bad?
Well, just there's a lot of names that people might get drawn on. They might, you know, in the ads it's going to say from the director of Sleepless in Seattle. So
Well,
here's
this
our
movie
warning.
isn't Sleepless. It's not in Seattle,
There you go.
and it's not any good.
Dare I say this, but I think those two critics have overlooked a pretty good Christmas movie. I admit it right now that it's by no means perfect. But it doesn't belong on the worst movies of 1994 list either.
I wonder whether your name starts with a C or a K. I wonder whether you prefer I'm Joy to Milky Way. I wonder whether you sleep to the left or to the right. I wonder who you think would win if me and Philip got into a fight.
Mixed Nuts is set in the office of a small non-profit suicide prevention charity, in the model of the Samaritans. It's Christmas Eve, one of their busiest seasons, and they've not been able to pay the rent for several months. Philip, played by Steve Martin, is the well-meaning but terrible with people boss, who has to keep the business going whilst facing eviction. What then follows is a farce in the French tradition. People get stuck in lifts, they get crank called, the idiot delivery boy visits, an ex-con dressed as Santa drops in, the landlord gets shot, and a Christmas tree is destroyed repeatedly.
Oh, I love grape jelly.
I first watched Mixed Nuts on VHS, circa 1997, and instantly fell in love with the film. It became one of those Christmas movies I watch every year, like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or Elf. One year, as I settled down for my annual fix, I noticed in the opening credits that it was based on a French stage play. The title roughly translating to Father Christmas is odious, or Father Christmas is a stinker.
Ah bon, non, parce que pour nous, c'était seulement le petit Jean-Jacques. Hein. Pauvre petit Jean-Jacques. Eh ben, c'était moi.
Non, le petit con de Jean-Jacques, c'est vous.
Non, le petit Jean-Jacques. Le petit Jean-Jacques, c'est moi.
First produced on the Parisian stage in 1979 by its creators, the theatre group Les Splendides, who would later become better known in English language territories for the series of films retitled French Fried Vacation.
Mon père, sur la Côte d'Azur, et puis nous avions très mal dîné, alors on s'est dit comme ça, bon, on va terminer la soirée en mangeant un gazpacho. Vous savez le truc avec les gros haricots rouges?
Ah, c'est cela, oui. Alors le chili con carne, alors. Ah, ça recommence donc.
C'est cela, oui, chili con carne.
A film adaptation of the hit stage play came in 1982. I was only able to find this film when I visited France, as it wasn't released on DVD in the UK, and I was shocked to see how dark it is. The happy ending has gone, same with the Seaside Strangler subplot. But what I think really makes it work is the fact that the characters are played straight, rather than comedically. When people get angry, it feels like they're getting angry for a reason. When they're playing down and outs, they feel like real down and outs. And even the transvestite, transsexual, trans character, I'm afraid it's not defined in the film, so I can't define it here. She is played not for laughs, although she does guess a lot. She is played as a real character.
What does it look like? No, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
It's just a little larger than usual. Don't worry, the swelling will go down. It must be nice to have your best feature be so prominent.
Black comedies don't really work to the same degree in America. A dark, cynical sense of humour is one of the few things the UK and France share. Ealing comedies, made in London throughout the 1940s and 50s, were all about crimes and murders going wrong to comic effect. France equally have enjoyed their comedies on the darker side of pitch black, whereas in America, they've always been a sucker for a happy ending.
It's Christmas.
Both versions have good and bad points. The American one ties up the ending nicer and introduces the seaside strangler subplot, which stops you feeling sorry for the murder victim. It's got a wonderful cast: Steve Martin, Madeline Kahn, Garry Shandling, and many cameos too. If anything, it feels a nutcase or two too many. They could have dropped the repeated destroying the Christmas tree gag, as I can't imagine anyone in real life being as picky about their Christmas tree as Jon Stewart is. The French version gives you a real feeling of a situation going out of control, as the characters, who are meant to be there to help people, slowly slip into insanity. So if I were to recommend one version to watch, it would be the French one.
That's it?
It's a work in progress. It may never be finished.
But I stand by the American version. It's not perfect, but it is dark, festive fun. Had Joel and Ethan Coen made it, rather than the woman who directed You've Got Mail, then I think it would be a Christmas classic. But alas, they did not. So it is what it is. Were Siskel and Ebert both not dead, I would demand that they re-watched it, or at least took it off the worst films of 1994 list. Anyway, until next time, I'm Scott Kingsnorth, and I'm making a movie.